Njida Anderson-Yantha is a native of Toronto, Canada. A brilliant mind, she attended the renowned Spelman College as an honor student and double majored in French and political science. She is also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a lawyer, wife, and dear friend. She has been a naturalista her whole life, adorning a beautiful crown of natural hair. In 2006, Indija was a recipient of a year-long Watson Fellowship and traveled to 7 countries across the world studying natural hair and women's position in society. This foundational research later birthed a self-published children's book entitled What Are You Gonna Do With That Hair?, featuring a young girl with natural hair named Zuri. It roots her understanding of her identity in practices that span the African diaspora, strengthening her to be comfortable with her authentic, natural self. It is a piece designed to empower and to promote self-comfort and affirm the validity of children with skin of all hues, that they are enough. And no matter how they choose to wear their hair, do it from a place of assurance and not of conformity. We tried a number of times to hold this virtual interview, and she was gracious enough to always respond with a yes. It is my prayer that her words help to strengthen you and that you, in turn, continue to support this beautiful woman of the diaspora. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Business Acumen with Cross Cultural Talks. I am your host, Robinette Cross, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I have a very special guest with me. This is our second or third time around trying to complete our interview, but this is one of my dear friends, my Spelman sisters, my sorors. I have on via Google Hangouts, Njida Anderson-Yantha. She is an author, a self-published author. She is a lawyer. She's multilingual. She's multi-talented. She's an overall international mover and shaker. So, Njida, I thank you so much for joining us on the call today. And I love you. Thank you for doing this again and again and again.
No problem. My pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and where you went to. Well, we went to Spelman, but what you did right after Spelman that encouraged you to want to write a children's book. And tell us the name of your children's book, please.
Okay, so I'm from Toronto, Canada, born and raised, and I have been a naturalista my entire life. Growing up, my sister and we were under a no perm policy until you're 16 at our house. And so I grew up knowing how to braid from a very early age. When I went to Spelman for undergrad, this was at the beginning of the natural hair movement. And I was actually shocked to see how many Black women at Spelman didn't know how to braid, didn't know how to manage their natural hair. And at the time, I could count the number of naturalistas that were at Spelman at the time. By the time I got to my last year, I was given the opportunity to apply for the Thomas J. Watson Fellowship to study a topic of interest for a year on a solo trip around the world. And so I naturally chose Black hair. So I did a project where I traveled to 7 different countries to learn about how Black hair is perceived and how braiding plays a role in female socialization around the world. And ultimately, a publisher heard that I was working on this project. They asked me to write a nonfiction children's book on natural hair. Make a long story short, the deal ended up being canceled because they got bought out. And a couple years after that, I decided, you know what, this book needs to come out now. The natural hair movement was rising, and I decided to write my book. It's called What Are You Gonna Do With That Hair? And it teaches readers about the history and the beauty of natural hairstyles.
That's perfect. Actually, I have a copy of that book. It was gifted to us by Madison's godmother, Claire Stewart, one of my dearest friends. She's a Delta, but we accept her anyway. And she And really, she's Madison's godmother, and that was one of Madison's gifts. The other last year, I believe. What are you going to do with that hair? And Madison really loves it because she loves the diversity, the versatility, and you did a lot of work. You did a lot of research. This book is a children's book, but it's based on the research you did in 7 different countries.
Yes, that makes
That
me
is
really happy to
amazing.
know that Madison enjoys the book.
She does. And it's really good for her to see brown girls who look like her with hair like hers, as diverse as she is, and then she's able to say, "Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Look at how she looks. Look at how I look." So it's really empowering to young children. And as a mother, I have natural hair, and with a child who that's my policy at home as well. She's going to have a natural hair journey for her life while she lives under my roof. So what do you do with as much hair as she has? She has a ton of it. So really learning how to manage her hair and knowing that there are people in the world who look just like her with hair just as beautiful. We're changing the narrative of standards of beauty, and I thank you for doing that.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in addition to being a published author, congratulations, because I know you just had a book release in Atlanta, right?
Right. I did. I just got back from a book signing in Atlanta last weekend.
I love it. I love it. In addition to that, you are also a lawyer, is that correct?
I am. Right now I'm doing the lawyering on the side.
That's good though. That's good though, because you have to have a knowledge of law. So what do you want your community impact to be?
Wow, my community impact. Well, I mean, through the work that I've done with the book, I definitely want young Black girls and women really to see themselves differently, to um, look towards a new aesthetic, a curly haired aesthetic, and to understand that our hair is beautiful too. I believe that if we're armed with the knowledge that our hairstyles come from a rich history, that we come from royalty, that it's something to be proud of, I think it will change the way that we see ourselves. And in that way, it will help us to feel more affirmed and to be more confident in our everyday lives. So I know that many people just look at it and they think like, well, it's just hair. But it's so much more. When you feel good about your hair, you feel good about yourself. So I would say that's what I want my impact to be.
That's good. And one of the things that you mentioned when we were talking before is that it's that the journey that you're describing is not so much about being natural. It's about being comfortable. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, being comfortable. So if you're going to have a relaxer, be comfortable with that relaxer. Wear it because you want it and not because that is what the world set as your standard. It's because it's a standard that you set for yourself.
Right. As much as I'm an advocate for natural hair, I really believe that it boils down to self-acceptance. So, I feel that if somebody wants to wear their hair straight or get a relaxer, as long as they're doing it out of their own agency and not because they feel compelled to do that because of external forces, then I say more power to them. So I'm not anti-relaxed or anti-straight. I'm more pro self-acceptance and people feeling comfortable in their own skin.
I love it. Pro self acceptance and people feeling comfortable in their own skin. I love that. I love that. And with that being said, because you have such a journey ahead of you so what are you going to do with that hair? What is coming down the pike for you? What do you have set for your future endeavors?
So I definitely want to write more books. I'm definitely going to do a boys version. I've had a lot of parents ask me, where's the boys version? When's it coming? So I'm going to be working on that. The French version is very soon to be released. And I'd also like the book to be translated into the other languages of the diaspora, including Spanish, Portuguese, and possibly even German. And eventually, I would like to do some writing for an adult audience as well, perhaps focusing on natural hair, maybe on other issues that are pertinent to Black women, and just building as well the business. Currently, we sell paraphernalia associated with the book, and we want to sell more products. We have calendars and notebooks and T-shirts, and we want to sell products that feature children of color, characters of color, because we really do recognize the need for more representation. Our children need to see themselves so that they know that they matter too, that they're beautiful too, and that yeah, they can be on a T-shirt, they can be on a book, they can do anything. So those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about in the future.
That's gorgeous. And so, first of all, best of luck to you with everything that you're doing. May God continue to expand you. May He continue to increase your territory and the works of your hands. May He give you new concepts and fresh understandings. And so, if people wanted to contact you or to support the journey, how would they reach you? Tell us all of your contact information, social media platforms. How can we follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at The Natural Hair Advocate, as well as at Zuri's Beautiful Hair. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, The Natural Hair Advocate, and on Twitter, which is at the NH Advocate. That's my handle. And you can always check out my author's website at www.njidaanderson-yantha.com. And I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you for the blessings and the well wishes and the good thoughts and positive energy. I receive it, and I wish you all the best with what you're doing too. You're doing some amazing things.
Thank you. Njida, God bless you. Thank you so much for being on the show for like the third or fourth time. I don't even remember. But I think we finally captured something that putting these things, these concepts together, we are going to create a beautiful segment. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this segment of Business Acumen with Cross Cultural Talks, featuring just my dear Spelman sister, my Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, soror, Njida Anderson-Yantha. Be sure to go out and to purchase. So what are you going to do with that hair? Support by the paraphernalia. Follow her. Support this movement. Support the culture. Join the discussion about the diaspora, because it's a big, great, and beautiful one. So don't forget to go and be great on purpose. We will see you again, same time, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time next Saturday. God bless you.